What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here, breaking down the latest on the Deshaun Watson front. We'll check out what's maybe on the horizon for him and the Browns, as the New York Times dropped an article on Tuesday that implies and has a lot more allegations than what is currently out there. So we'll check out some notes from there. Plus, we'll go back and look at Watson's introductory press conference and see what Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski said then, kind of bring up some old receipts. Plus, Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk believes the Browns may be able to get out of his contract. So we're going to look at that as the 24th lawsuit coming against Watson may be a loophole for the Browns. So we'll look at that, but it's not very likely in my opinion. But anyway, and then we'll look at some other QB options for the Browns if it gets to that point, because you can't rule that out right now, I would say, after what's been a couple rough days for Deshaun Watson with all these allegations coming against him. So a 23rd and a 24th lawsuit have been filed against Deshaun Watson. The New York Times on Tuesday dropped, in my opinion, an absolute bombshell of an article where they are alleging that there's a lot more than just 23 and 24 women who were victims of this sexual misconduct. So we're going to look at some of the notes from that. Plus, the NFL's decision regarding Deshaun Watson was expected soon, as they met with him now 2 weeks ago, which signaled the end of this investigation. But could these two new civil lawsuits extend that? So we're going to look at all that. But like the New York Times said, that Watson met with at least 66 women in a 17-month time span. Plus, he got help from the Houston Texans and a local spa owner in Houston. Now, there's a difference between 24 women who are accusing him of something and him meeting with 66 different women, okay? That does not mean that 24 is now the number 66. No, it just means maybe there's a higher total than just the number 24. But for Andrew Berry, you got to envision what he is thinking right now is the NFL makes their decision as soon as possible, and this is just, hopefully over with, well, as over as it could be, because this story is not going to disappear. And he knows that, right? He's a smart guy. He went to Harvard. He knew when he pulled off this trade, it wouldn't be all hunky-dory and under the rug after a couple weeks. But maybe he didn't expect more civil lawsuits to come against Deshaun Watson and kind of bring up the news cycle, and for the New York Times to drop a huge article about that. Maybe that wasn't something kind of on his radar. I'm guessing when Andrew Berry pulled off this trade, he was expecting a potential suspension, maybe in the 4 to 8 game range, and that was something he could live with because it's a 5-year contract, and if he doesn't have Watson for a quarter, a third, or a half of year one, that's all right. He's thinking long-term here. But now a full year suspension is seeming more likely than it once was, okay? Now, here's the issue. Here's the deal with an NFL investigation. They used to be the judge and the jury. But the latest CBA between the players and the owners has arbitration, which means a third party steps in and makes a decision based on the evidence presented to them by the NFL's personal conduct policy team. So that does not necessarily mean that Watson will get off maybe a little easier because it's not the NFL coming down. It's a third party. It's just different than what has been in the past. A lot to consume and digest here, but let me ask this question. This is the pinned comment. So if Deshaun Watson is suspended, big if, just if, how many games do you think it would be? Head on down to the comments section because you're going to get hit with the YouTube ad break, so take advantage of it by getting your votes in down below. We're going to check out some notes from this article from Jenny Vrentas at the New York Times, who wrote, "Yet a New York Times examination of records, including depositions and evidence for the civil lawsuits as well as interviews for some of the women, show that Watson engaged in more questionable behavior than previously known." I really hope when Andrew Berry said that they launched a 5-month odyssey of an investigation into Deshaun Watson and his character, they saw this coming potentially, or they knew about this. Because it seems that when he pulled off the trade, there was just 22. Maybe he wasn't doing a good job of, getting the mystery machine together and putting on a Scooby-Doo investigation if he thought it was just 22. So here's what Andrew Berry said during the introductory press conference. It was through this really 5-month odyssey and information that we were able to amass and the reference to work and obviously working through due process and the legal process that got us comfortable pursuing the trade for Deshaun Watson. Okay, so if you're Andrew Berry, you hope that if you were going to pull off a $230 million guaranteed contract, you would know everything there is to know about this. And it wouldn't just take a team of, investigative journalists at New York Times to bring stuff up, right? Wouldn't you have confidence in Andrew Berry and his team that in their 5-month project on this, they were able to collect everything out there about Watson and not miss anything? That's my concern, okay? I'm not saying that these things are true, what the New York Times is alleging. But if they are true, I hope Andrew Berry, and this 5-month odyssey, he called it, was able to find out everything there is to know and not just write a $230 million check on a bit of a prayer. Now, here's what Jenny also had to say at the New York Times. The Times review also showed that Watson's conduct was enabled, knowingly or not, by the team he played for at the time, the Houston Texans, which provided the venue Watson used for some of the appointments. A team representative also furnished him with a non-disclosure agreement after a woman who is now suing him threatened online to expose his behavior. This is what I'm getting at with Andrew Berry's investigation, because the Houston Texans seem to have a hand in this. And I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to find that out, because the New York Times did it, I wouldn't say easily, but they're not the CIA, right? This wasn't an FBI investigation. It was investigative journalists who were able to dig some of this up. Now, if this is all true, that's one thing, and if it's not, that's another. This is what the New York Times is reporting. Now, we're going to have more to get to from this, but first, if you are looking for free Browns news coverage 24/7, 365 days of the year, subscribe today. You are in the right place. We get you guys daily free Browns content, even if it's about some touchy, uncomfortable subjects. We do it all here, so hit that big red button and subscribe. On to what Kevin Stefanski said. I think this is important to remember during the press conference. Just to echo what Andrew said, this organization did a tremendous amount of work on Deshaun the person, and a tremendous amount of background. I understand the concerns completely, and Stefanski would go on to say, like Andrew talked about, we understand that there are questions to be answered. I have confidence in the work that we put in. I have confidence in the extensive work that our group put in to understand Deshaun. I really hope this investigation was a very thorough and good investigation. Okay? I'm not out here saying that everything the New York Times is saying is true and should be put in stone. But if what they are alleging is true, I think Stefanski and Berry probably look pretty dumb right now after saying how thorough and confident they were in this investigation, only to find out a couple months later a lot more would be dug up. So a lot of hypotheticals and ifs and he said, she said here, so it's not black and white, but the Browns sure seemed confident when they introduced Deshaun Watson that they had done a lot of research. What I'm wondering, and one of my coworkers, Harrison Graham, maybe pointed out, was did Andrew Berry get a little anxious and felt he was behind? Because it seemed like he was, right? Remember, the Browns were eliminated from the running, and he said, screw it. The Saints and the Falcons, they're not going to offer this much. I'll give him $230 million guaranteed, and I'll just pray that no more bad stuff comes up. Andrew Berry is too smart for that, but I think that's got to at least be entertained, right? I don't think you could just dismiss that idea, because it's not looking very good right now about how thorough and good this investigation was by the Browns if what the New York Times is finding is true and the Browns didn't find that. So what's your panic level on all of this, right? Top to bottom, where are you at? Scale it for me 1 to 10. Let me know where you're at on this entire Deshaun Watson saga, I guess we'll call it, as this continues to snowball into the offseason, into the season as well. Personally, I'm at like a 6.6. Maybe that's a little too low, honestly. I don't want to completely start slamming, a buzzer and sounding off alarms and ringing bells, but I'm above a 5, right? I'm above 50% because I read the whole New York Times article, and I invite you to as well if you want more information on this. If what they're saying is true, then to me, it didn't look like the Browns did a good investigation in Deshaun Watson. That's kind of my big takeaway here. Now, over at Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio, who is just a contract nerd, and he's kind of going off his rocker a little bit lately, but he did write about how the Browns maybe could get out of Deshaun Watson's contract. And that seems too far-fetched for me. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll at least show you guys what he said. But first, I want to tell you all about our friends over at Rumble. Check us out, rumble.com/Browns Report. It's a video platform service similar to YouTube, but one of the really cool features that I like about Rumble is you can have the video going in the background while you're doing other stuff on your phone. So if you want to send a quick text, hop on Twitter, whatever it is, you can listen to the video having it on the background. So check us out. Get your news, sports, politics, and more over there. Plus, we're about almost at 3,000 subscribers. So I greatly appreciate everyone that's already subbed over there. But if you haven't already, make sure you do so at rumble.com/Browns Report. Let's move on to the second half of this, the second segment of this, because Deshaun Watson's lawyer, Rusty Hardin, he said this after the 24th lawsuit came against Deshaun Watson. Our legal team has not had time to investigate this new filing and had not heard her name until today. That's a very important last half of the sentence, that they had not heard of her name today. That is different than the previous 23 allegations, okay? And it's different for the Browns as well, okay? Here's what Florio said. Now, bear with me because he's kind of a nerd, but let's unpack this. Second, if Watson eventually is suspended for the conduct alleged in the 24th lawsuit, the Browns possibly will be able to void his guarantees and move on from him, and possibly to recover a significant portion of his signing bonus. So how does that make sense, right? Why is 24 different than the other 23? Well, it's because the Browns apparently, and so does Watson's team, did not know about this 24th allegation. So here's what Florio said. The question now becomes whether Watson's contract was written broadly enough to encompass individuals who had not previously come forward either with a lawsuit, a criminal complaint, or some other public statement. Florio would go on to say, the plaintiff who sued last week, for example, was known to Watson's camp because she did a podcast interview last August. Based on Hardin's statement, they didn't know the name of the person who filed the 24th lawsuit until Monday. The takeaway here, kind of in English, is the Browns gave him a contract knowing about the 22 allegations. They didn't know about a 24th person. And that's something that maybe they can, like Florio said, written broadly enough, go, hey, we gave you $230 million knowing about X, but we didn't know about Y. And because Y is out there, we're out. Seems unlikely, okay? Now, I'm not an agent, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't think Watson's going anywhere. I don't think the Browns are going to try and loophole their way out of this. They seem to be invested in this, and they hitched their wagon on this. And I don't see a way they're going to get out of it, but maybe Andrew Berry wrote that into the contract, and he has no problem backtracking all of this, stomaching all the picks. Those aren't coming back, remember. If they get rid of Deshaun Watson, they don't get to hit the undo button. They don't Command Z this and get all their picks back from Houston. Okay, they don't get the 13th pick back. We're going to go back in time and redraft? No. So I don't think Andrew Berry is going to give up on Deshaun Watson. But if there is a camp out there that wants to know other options the Browns have at quarterback if Deshaun Watson is suspended for more than 4 games, right? An extended period of time. Maybe it's a full year in 2022. These are their 3 best options, most realistic ones. Jacoby Brissett makes the most sense. He is the current backup quarterback. Then there's the Baker Mayfield argument. I will stand by, that's not going to happen for a lot of reasons. Even if it is the most beneficial for most parties, both sides are way too stubborn to undo what they said. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, a very intriguing option that we'll look at in just a second. But let me ask this question. Would you trade for Jimmy Garoppolo if Deshaun Watson is suspended, say, for a full season? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. I don't think you can rule it out, but I don't think it's going to happen. Okay, the reason why I say that is if Deshaun Watson is suspended, I believe it will be Jacoby Brissett who is going to start for however long he is suspended. Because look at it this way. Even if, Garoppolo is better than Brissett. We can all agree on that. But Stefanski and Barry are not going to get fired if they have to start Brissett this whole season and they win 5 games, 6 games, if it's horrible, right? No, Haslam has bought into this, and they know what they signed up for. So Haslam's not going to freak out if Watson's suspended for a year and goes, whoa, what was this? You guys are fired. So why would Andrew Barry give up draft capital to get Garoppolo for just a season when he knows Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to win a Super Bowl for him? Now, if Jimmy G can go for a 7th, which the Browns, I don't think even have a 7th, maybe, right? That would make, but I don't think the 49ers are going to part ways for just a 7th round pick. They're probably banking on the same like the Browns, Seattle or Carolina not liking their current QB situation. So to me, it just doesn't make a lot of sense for the Browns to go get Garoppolo, give up assets for just a season, only to go back to Watson after 1 year. Because let's face it, Jimmy G ain't winning a Super Bowl this year with the Browns. I don't find that very likely. And if Baker Mayfield takes a snap for the Browns, this is a promise I have made before, and I will reverbalize. If Baker Mayfield takes a snap, I am taking a polar plunge in Lake Erie in December. That is how confident I am that Baker Mayfield is not going to walk back to Cleveland and say, I'll play for you guys. I heard you need a quarterback. And there's no way Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Barry are going to pick up the phone and call Baker and act like nothing happened and try to just wipe his hard drive of the last 6 months and say, you want to play for us for just 1 season? No. The two sides are way too stubborn, proud, whatever you want to call it, to shake hands and just make do for 1 year. That's just not in the cards. Appreciate everyone that clicked onto today's video. I know it was a long video and a lot to break down here, but that's the current situation the Browns have to deal with at the most important position at sports. So everything's fine. There's nothing to worry about. Hit that big red button, subscribe, and I'll see you later with more Browns news and rumors.